I'm making sunshine for the journey. I'm making sunshine for the journey. I'm making sunshine for the journey. And I am making it right now. Hey, everybody. Today we have a Sunshine for the Journey episode just for parents. The Ready, Set, Go show has many episodes which have been created just for young kids and the big people in their life, and they are filled with stories, songs, interviews, and ideas for activities. But it's also fun for adult listeners to hear from parents who have perspective on the early years with their own children. It's easy to get stressed out by situations close to home, in our own home, and out in the world. So this is a place for us to reflect on what went right despite everything. Today, Santiago is actually going to interview me so that I can tell you how I use a special self-care calendar to put the to-do list in perspective so that I can feel more in control of my days and my future. And before we start, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about yourself and your role in the Ready, Set, Go show podcast.
Hi, Miss Katie.
Hey, Santiago.
Yeah, I do podcasts for Possibilities. Possibilities is all about connecting people so that they can create change. And so we're all about community. And by giving people access to this studio and allowing them to tell their own stories and share what they're going through, what they're doing, and build their community, we are making it easier for anyone to create change in their own communities.
Well, it's a really exciting work. And all of the podcasts are people who are coming out of Oklahoma City and surrounding areas. Is that right?
Yes. And so if you are in the OKC metro, maybe you want to check out the Possibilities podcast platform if you have ever been curious about being on a podcast or starting one yourself.
And tell us where you can find out more information about that.
That is at possibilitiesinc.org to learn more about possibilities, but also specifically with our podcasts, it's buildingbridgesokc.org.
Yes, and you can see all the different podcasts. Mine, the Ready, Set, Go show, is just one of the many.
Yeah, and we have a wide variety of podcasts with a number of different topics and different hosts that are experts in a wide range of topics. And so there's a lot to enjoy there.
Great. Well, I really appreciate all the help you've given me over the years, Santiago.
I'm glad to be a part of your journey. But speaking of your journey, tell me about this calendar that you use.
Well, I use a self-care calendar, which I've actually called now the Transformation Toolbox calendar, because it's really a tool that you can use to transform your own life. And I've used it for over 10 years. And it's something that I spend probably about a minute on right before bed every night, along with a grateful book, which I've done for over 20 years at this point. So for a very long time, I've just thought about the 5 things I'm grateful for in a given day. But the calendar helps me think about things that actually take time.
So it's not like a normal calendar where you plan events and look forward, but you also are thinking of the things that have already happened, yes?
That is exactly right. So I have a big to-do list all the time in a normal calendar, and this is sort of a counterpoint to that. And the idea is that I just scan my day and think about what really fed me in the sense of bringing me peace or joy or happiness or some exercise, just anything like that. And then the cool thing is not only can you just reflect on your day, but then at the end of the month, I also like to reflect on the entire month. And the funny thing is, some of the things I did at the beginning of the month, I've already forgotten about. And so it just helps bring a little burst of joy again, when I think about some of those great things that happened earlier on. And then finally, you can kind of look at it long-term as a reflection, because of course, I've done this for 10 or 12 years. So you really build that muscle of knowing that you can support yourself. You do have time in any given day, no matter what is going on or how bad it can be, because I've been through some hard things, of course, in those years, that, good things are always happening, and that you can kind of control having even more good things, within any given day.
Yeah. So tell me about the time that you started using it and why you made it.
Well, I started using a calendar like this when my kids were really young. And I was also working, volunteering, and helping care for parents who were aging. So I was feeling like I just didn't have the time to do some of the activities that really brought me joy before parenting. Those hours just weren't there. And there were things I used to love to do, like play tennis or sail. And I used to be in a band, and none of that was happening. So I was just feeling like I wanted to really realize like how special this time in life was, that it was fleeting. My kids wouldn't always be young. And that I wanted to have enough energy to really enjoy my time with my kids and my husband doing my work. So I just wanted to use something, and I didn't have a lot of time. So it felt like this kind of calendar was a really good tool. And also it didn't take hardly any time in a day.
Yeah. How has it evolved over the many, many years that you've been using this calendar?
Well, I first got the idea to do it because I was given a beautiful gift by one of the parents of my pre-K kids. And she's an artist. So she'd made a beautiful calendar with her artwork on the top of a page and then all of the months at the bottom. And they were very small with very small numbers. And what I decided to do with this calendar was think about my day at the end of the day. And if I could tell that like something had happened that it had really fed me in some way, then I would circle the number. And so over the course of the days, I could see I was circling almost every number. And sometimes if something took a lot of time in a day, like say we were on a really fun vacation or something really special happened, then I would actually circle the number twice to show that it was really a very good day. And then I did it that way for 3 years. And then I was actually gifted another kind of calendar on the 4th year. So somebody gave me a wall calendar, and I'd already had my regular wall calendar picked out. So I decided, why not use the same concept, but build it a little bit. And so in this case, I had space to write in every little square. And so I would scan my day and then actually write down the activity that was fulfilling to me. And so that really changed things. And in fact, I liked it so much, I've stuck with it all these years. And I really think I'm going to do it for the rest of my life.
Amazing. What are some things that you've learned by using this calendar?
I've learned a lot of things. The thing that really stuck out to me at the beginning was the fact that consistently every single month, the area where I spent the most time feeling fulfilled was when I was actually with my family. And I could see that doing things, of course, because I was just spending so much time with my kids, but like I could build in times like going to the park or walking the dog or playing in the backyard that were really fulfilling to both them and to me. Also, there were certain things that I could see were always added to my calendar once I started writing down what I was doing. For instance, like exercise or like a massage. And that would be like a very special thing to be doing. But I started trying to build those things into my schedule more regularly and just know that I could count on myself to always get those things done. Another thing is the fact that you just have agency to shift and change. Like your life is not just sort of a thing that's always going to be the same way. The kids are going to grow up. The way you spend time together is going to change. Perhaps you'll have more or less free time depending on how things go. But for instance, at one point I was starting to do a lot more driving. And one way, I really don't love to drive. So one way I turned this task from being something that was frustrating into something that was fulfilling is by listening to a podcast that I really loved every time I would drive. So I really, for years now, every time I'm in the car, I'm almost always listening to a podcast that is fulfilling to me. And also, I think as far as the long term, I feel like I have a lot more hope for the future because I realize that I have been through some really hard things in the past. Like there were several years where I was coping with loss and grief as my parents aged and got sick and eventually died. Those were really hard years in some ways. Also, there are challenges of parenting and, just challenges for every part of life, in fact. But it brings me hope to know that even despite those times being difficult, there were experiences every single day where I was being fed in some way, whether it was through physical exercise or through going to church and being fed spiritually or having fun with my family.
Yeah. How has it affected your parenting?
Well, I would say it's pretty amazing how it's affected my parenting. I mean, especially for the fact that it only takes a few seconds or maybe even just a minute per day. For one, I was leaning into what was available to me. Again, I wasn't able to do certain activities because I was busy with working and parenting and doing the things around my household. But I was able to really fully recognize how good certain activities were for me. And if it was good for me, it was also good for them. And we would do more things, I would say, as a result of this, just attention that were fun for all of us. Also, I noticed if I can be in a place where I'm happier and less stressed, of course, that's going to help the family dynamic. I would also say that I've modeled self-care, and I can see that my kids are doing that too. And they don't actively use a calendar, but they do really bring a lot of fulfilling activities into their life. And I would say that they have all kinds of things that they do that are super fulfilling to them, whether it's time with family or friends or doing some exercise or volunteering activities. I feel like they really have very full lives, and they have really all of these years.
I do have a concern that because this calendar is so focused on positivity, that maybe there's less room for the negative emotions that are also really healthy to express. So how do you acknowledge and confirm those rough days?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, I have a lot of tools I work with, actually, and this calendar is only one of them. One thing I would say I do for me is I think a lot about things and actually pray about them. So I would say I am praying in my mind quite a bit during the day and trying to kind of work through my hard situations or feelings. But also another thing I do that I've found really, really helpful is if I'm having a really hard thing, I will put a timer on for 20 minutes. I will light a candle, and then I will write about it, just completely freely. And a lot of times it's stuff I need to process, and it's not necessarily the kind of thing I want somebody else to read. So it's also really helpful to me to write it all out and then spend 20 minutes on that and then read it to myself, maybe twice, depending, and kind of think through it again. And then I shred it. So I find that really cathartic because I can really go deep and then just let it go. And I've just found that technique so helpful. So that's kind of the opposite thing of the calendar, where I'm keeping it forever, but then this other stuff I can just let go.
Yeah. And it allows you to balance out the reality of sometimes you have tough days.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, it's to me, the hard stuff is ever present and all the time. You're aware of the hardships in your own house or in your own life. You're aware of the hardships in the world if you're reading the news or listening to the news. And it's very easy, in my opinion, to get very wrapped up in the hard stuff. And I think that's why I like to focus completely on the positive, because it creates such a strong counter argument or counterpoint to all that stuff, all the stress and all the fear and the anger that come out of being aware of all the hard stuff and focusing on that. And I think actually for survival, humans are sort of made to be thinking about the hard stuff first, just so that they can actually survive. And I think that's really important. And it's important to process those things. But I think we have to build the muscle to create the ability to understand that there is hope and there is good stuff happening, and that we can actually create more of it if we want to.
Do you go back and look over the calendar and maybe reminisce over the positives of the year?
Well, once I started using the other way of doing a calendar where I'd write down the activities specifically in every little square for a day, I actually reminisce at the end of the month. So I spend one day or one evening kind of thinking about the things that happen in the month, and also maybe mention a few of the challenges I went through that month, but don't really linger on that. I think about what went well, maybe think about what I might want to add and do more of the next month. I do find I always wish I had more time with friends, for instance. And So then maybe I'm more intentional about reaching out to a friend about going to coffee. But also at the end of the year, I like to look through all the pages I've written over the course of the year. And it's just sort of stunning the amount of things that have happened that are so good. And so I think that every time you reflect, it just reinforces the fact that so much good is actually happening in my own life. And that I have so much hope for the future because I know I can do many of these same activities and then also add in different ones.
Have you shared this idea with friends and other people?
Well, actually, I have. So I thought it would be fun to make a calendar and give it to people for Christmas presents last year. And I got some good feedback from several people saying they really enjoyed using it. So I did make another one for this coming year. It's been really fun to share this idea with other people and see them using the calendar too.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you are continuing to share this idea with other people. And now all of your listeners can use this in their own lives and have it be rejuvenating for them too.
Well, that is very exciting. Well, thank you, Santiago, for helping me out today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody. Hope you have a great day and a great year ahead. I'm making sunshine for the journey. I'm making sunshine for the journey. I'm making sunshine for the journey. And I am making it right now. And then I watch the news and think, well, where do I even begin? And then I think again, if not me, who? And if not now, when? If not me, who? And if not now, when? So I'm gonna put one foot in front of the other, 1 foot. I'm gonna put 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot. I'm gonna put 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot. Yes, and I'll be on my way. Yes, I'll be on my way.
How you gonna make sunshine?
I'm going to open my mind.
Open my mind.
Do what makes me smile inside. Then I'll share my smile with you. And like a wave, it will reach others too. I'm gonna put 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot. I'm gonna put 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot. I'm gonna put 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot. Yes, and I'll be on my way. Yes, I'll be on my way. And I'm making sunshine for the journey. I'm making sunshine for the journey. I'm making sunshine for the journey. And I am making it right now. Say that again. Yes, I am making it right now. One more time. Yes, I am making it right now.
Sunshine.
The Ready, Set, Go show is part of the Possibilities podcast platform.